So in the pregnancy, the second trimester had to be my favorite because I finally felt like a normal person again. Started eating, and that's when my baby bump popped and nausea subsided. Things were good in the world, man.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm glad to feel that way.
The only thing that happened, so as a kid, I suffered with asthma, but I learned how to control it. And then in the second trimester, I don't know what happened, but I had like an attack one night, and it was so bad I couldn't breathe. I had to wake him up, and I was just like crying, so frightened. And
The way she was behaving, well, I can imagine because it comes with the anxiety and stuff, but she was like acting like she was gonna die. Like, really.
that's how I felt. I'm not even going to joke, but I felt like I was dying because no air was going in at all. At all. I couldn't even breathe.
And I was there like, oh my god. Aside from her, she has that anxiety as well. So she was hyping herself up, and it was just getting worse and worse. So I sort of calm her down. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you dealing with this, and then I'm thinking about the babies, and obviously the babies need oxygen in the blood as well. So I don't know to what extent it'll affect them, and that's one of the problems when you do a lot of research is that you don't know, you overthink things, But I think priority at that moment was just sort of calming her down, telling her to breathe, and getting her water, sip on the water, and I literally even took her out the front door just to get the fresh air, and it was like 1 o'clock or whatever in the morning. So yeah, it was scary, but
Yeah, then like right after that, my gynae put me back on the pump after years, and that basically got me through the pregnancy because the asthma got like so bad. It was just like tightening of the chest, like, and I had like too many instances in the pregnancy. But yeah.
so then we led up to the baby kicks, and she can tell you more about that because it's not like I was feeling it.
So the first baby kick happened at 17 weeks, and yeah, it's when it did happen, I was like lying down on the couch, and I was like, "Whoop, what is that?" I couldn't explain it to him, and I think it was too soon for him to feel anything. But I'm like, I'm so sure this was a kick.
So as much as she was saying that, and I'm like, her bump is there, it was forming and stuff, and I'm like, I don't think you're really feeling kicks, and it's probably just gas. Like, you're probably just gassy, and pregnant women deal with that because of how the organs and stuff have to readjust. So gas is one of the things. So I just assumed that it was gas, but she was adamant that it was baby kicks.
It was a feeling you've never felt before. To all of those who are expecting, you'll know. You just know.
So even the doctor said that, like a lot of women probably described it, but yeah, she was right in what she was saying, because it's sort of like those tingles and just it's sort of like you feel that noise, I would think. So yeah, I'm saying it like I was feeling it. Maybe I guess, and I just can't relate it to that. But anyway, so yeah, when she was feeling those kicks or whatever, I used to tell her. She used to be like, oh, I can feel it now and stuff, and I used to put my ear there because I may not be able to feel it, but maybe I can hear something. But to me, it was like, I wasn't like in awe and oh wow, because what I could hear was like, when you drink a lot of water and then you shake and then it just goes like so that's what I was like, okay, you feel it, cool. So I was more looking forward to the point where it's sort of very impactful, where I could really feel it. But yeah, that was the baby kicks, and that's where it started.
And then after that, we had a gynae appointment, and obviously because of lockdown restrictions, ISMA wasn't allowed in. So I was going to these gynae visits alone, and at this gynae visit, he saw the gender of the babies, and he was like, oh, I can see the gender, do you want to know? And I'm like, no, please, I actually want us to find out together, so please write it down on a piece of paper and give it to us in an envelope. And he did that, and then we were like, you know what, it will be better for someone else to find out first, and then surprise us and the family. So we did that.
So we want to know with the family. We want to know with everyone. So we gave it to my sister, and then she did the planning for sort of this gender reveal. And it was just at home, just for the close family, and yeah. So that day came, and it was one of the weekends or whatever, I think, and we set the place up, and we were excited because in the back of my mind I knew I wanted boys, just as I think it's a feeling when it's your first child or children, you just have that preset of what you want.
Like, you'll be happy with anything, obviously it's your child, but you just you've always had this idea of how your life was going to be. I always imagine girls. I'm just putting it out there.
So yeah, so she wants the girls, I wanted boys, and it was just, I think it was sort of like a phase or whatever, but so that day came and we were waiting, and the way we were going to find out was there was a piñata, and when we hit it, it's supposed to show the gender or the color, and my sister and family, they had these sprays, so it also sprayed the color, that string. So I was there, and I hit that thing, and I hit it very hard. It came off the tie, and it just fell on the floor, and everyone stood up, and they were looking.
Yeah.
And while we were trying to look, my sister was there, and she was like, and I'm looking down, and this thing is just flying on my face, and that's when we saw pink, and she was like, ah, she lost the shit, and I'm there okay, touche, okay.
We'll share some of the photos, and I'll share the video of his reaction. He froze.
Unfortunately, my reaction sort of tells the story.
It's like those, I'm sure you guys have seen those gender reveal videos of those parents that are flip and walk off. He wasn't so bad, but he froze, and I had to walk over to him and be like, hey, there we go.
You're making it sound bad. I wasn't
No, but explain to them the reasons why. Obviously, as a father, you have one girl in today's world, it's crazy. Mr. Year having two girls for a first-time parent, protecting them for the rest of his life, dealing with me, that's a lot for anyone to handle. I'd also have that reaction.
Yeah, but anyway, all good and well. We're just glad that we found out the gender, and we were excited, and then now we could sort of plan everything to come, and she was super excited because thinking about the clothes and all the fun stuff and what
and names.
So yeah, the names debate, the names debacle, the names controversy,
guys.
So
we were happy people until it came to the names, because we fought so much.
I can remember the one day where I was in the shower, and I'm standing there, I'm having a shower. It's your safe zone. It's your place of peace. Shower thoughts, chilling, relaxing. It just pops out in there, and she's like, so I'm going to talk about the baby names, and this is what I came up with, and these two, and do you like it? You need to tell me now. And I'm like...
But he always just says no. He said no for every name I came up with.
I was so upset because of how she was handling this thing, and I'm like, I need to figure it out also. And then what we said was, okay, fine, you choose one name and I'll choose one name. But the problem that came with that is that the names had to go together. So even then, we had to sort of agree on the names that we were deciding. So yeah, that went on for quite a while. But eventually we came to some sort of agreement.
But just to let you know, those two names that we did agree on, it was already halfway through our pregnancy, and then we started calling them these names, and then literally a month later we were
yeah, so we changed the names again. So even we told our parents the names, or our mothers especially, and they couldn't really say it properly, but it was funny, and then we changed it again later, and then they were just confused. They like couldn't even say
Yeah.
anything. But anyway, all that went well. It was fine. It was exciting, and then still going along, with the pregnancy journey.
Okay, so just to let everyone know, the names we did decide on was Elena.
And Liana.
So firstborn, I had the choice to choose, and secondborn, Mr. Obuya, and see how well they went together.
Yeah, so it's Elena and Liana. So yeah, that's what we agreed on. Happy with that. So we went for our next visit to the doc, and he said that we should go and see a specialist, or he advised that we should go and see a specialist because there was one concern that he had was about the water surrounding the baby B, Liana, and so he said just to be certain and get that advice from the specialist, because they do a more in-depth sort of testing and analysis and stuff like that. So he said he suggests and advised that we go for that visit.
Just because, with twins, it's like more difficult to see it like on his scan, just to check for abnormalities, if everything's developing properly with their brain. They have all their fingers, all their toes, all these, like little things that mean the most at the end. It's like, at first we weren't so sure whether to see him or not, because we were like, whatever happens, our babies are our babies. However they come out, it's it's our children. And then
I think that's just really important to note, is that in any pregnancy, don't feel so defeated, I would say, for what the doctor advises and the reasons why. I think just bear in mind what you've got and what's the journey meant for you. So yeah, we didn't keep that as a focal point. What we just wanted to know was especially from a twin perspective, and that's the whole reason why we considered going to a specialist, is because with twins and the complications they have, we needed to know that when we go for delivery and stuff, are the babies going to be okay at that point? Are the positions and stuff going to be okay? And when we went to the specialist, he shared with us, we'll talk about the 4D scan first. So when we got to his rooms, we did the 4D scan, and we'll just quickly go through this. But I haven't been to many visits prior to that because of COVID and the restrictions, so I couldn't go to the gynae's office with her. But
and at this point, we were halfway through the pregnancy, so the baby was like already developed,
Yeah, so while we were in the room and he was doing the 4D scan, I was looking at the screen and she was laying on the bed there, and he was doing the scan, and he was like, "You see there, yeah, that's the baby and this and that," and I could just see like mush, like a 4D scan looks like, just like freaking Play-Doh, like it looks like that, like you can't see any formations and stuff. So,
but also with twins, it was so much harder because they squished in there, so you have to try and make sense of what he's showing you. Unless you see like a nose or a lip, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, so he was going through it, and then eventually he got to some form where you could tell the face and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's amazing or whatever. But
we'll show you the picture.
I like the way I envisioned it was like seeing a sculpture of a baby, but it's not like that.
As you can see, there's only one 4D scan, and that's because the babies were so close together he couldn't get the face of the other one, but he told us that they're identical twins, so if you see one, you see both. So we're glad we could put a face to the baby.
Yeah, and then we were happy seeing them, and at that point he was like, everything looks fine, everything is good, and we were just excited that we reached this sort of milestone in the pregnancy to say, everything's been going well and everything's fine, the baby's okay. And then we continued in conversation with him where he shared, what to look out for and what to sort of monitor in time to come. But I think after all of that, he just said, he's happy with everything, and he sort of sees them being okay, till the end point. But those few things that he did share was something that we looked into after that, and we monitored. So there's sort of mainly three things, and one of them was the anemia. So they had to monitor the blood count because one twin might lack in iron and stuff like that. So it was a concern because remember, they can draw from each other or from the placenta, and it depends on how they fight for that nutrients and stuff. And the other one was it the glucose levels?
Yeah.
So it was glucose levels as well, and then
that could cause gestational diabetes in pregnancy.
I think the last one was where the one just takes all the nutrients and then the other one is sort of left. So he said that's some things to monitor, but he said just from those three things, just make sure the iron and the blood count is 100%. It's telling us that it's not for us to go and look into. He just said, it's something you and the gynecologist should just take note of.
But he was really happy with everything.
Yeah,
and his goal for us was to reach 36 weeks. He said once, like a full-term pregnancy is 40 weeks, and our original date, if we reached a full-term pregnancy, would have been the 4th of November. And our gynae actually said 36 weeks and 6 days, so almost 37 weeks, which gave us the date 12th October. So the specialist said even earlier, 1 week earlier. But
yeah, so that's it for the second trimester. And I think it was just a roller coaster at every turn, going through COVID, going through all of that. But mainly just from the second trimester, she enjoyed it because it was just getting more insight about the babies. After the first trimester, there's not much detail that they can share, but second trimester is when you see, the formation of the baby. You see it in the ultrasounds and stuff like that, and you start getting excited because that's when you start to find out the gender, and there's so much like just goes on in the second trimester. It really builds you up for that last leg of the pregnancy. So yeah. So it's been 2 trimesters into our third.
The final stretch.
Excited.
Nervous.
Yeah.
So we go to a gynae visit, and up until this point, I was ready to have that Caesar, and he was like, baby A, the lead twin, Elena, is in position to give birth naturally if I wanted. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't do enough research on a natural birth. So it's what I wanted, and I went and I bought a birth ball and everything, and I was like, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna be okay. And
until she wasn't sure because I think we were reaching those points where you did your research, you were like sort of wanted the natural birth, and then
the pros and cons.
So the pros and cons, I just told her, just look at the pros and cons and see the risks associated to it, and you do whatever, because I think just the main concern was that we be safe and we do it safely.
So with this, with our situation, things that could have gone wrong was the placenta could have ripped once the first twin was out, putting the second one in distress, and that leading to an emergency Caesar. So I'd have both a natural and a C-section in one day, and I was like, oh my gosh, no. That was the first one. The second case was they can be like in the correct position and everything, and then all of a sudden baby B is breech. Again, another emergency Caesar. And it was just too much to think about, and I was like, the safest way to get both out, just book me for that C-section.
So yeah, that was the whole back and forth with what or how babies are going to come. But all through that while, I mean, in the third trimester, dealing with them, you know?
Yeah, so the third trimester got a bit tricky again, like the nausea came back. And also with the growing belly, I read up so much about when you're expecting twins and how much weight gain is going to happen and all the problems associated with it. And I'm fortunate enough to have only gained 10 kgs in my pregnancy. Those 10 kgs took such a toll on my body. Obviously, with your stomach growing and pulling you forward, your back kills you. I can't even explain it enough. The tiredness from the weight you are carrying, I will just collapse all over the place and not be able to get up. And obviously, like in your third trimester, with all that weight, you pee 500 times a day, especially in the night.
Yeah, and in the night, I had like this much of the bed. I used to sleep like this.
So pillows are your best friend in pregnancy, especially in the third trimester. I had a pregnancy pillow between my legs. I had like one pillow in front, one pillow in the back, one pillow down. I was just like in a pillow fort.
I swear, like I could have suffocated. Because there's points in the night, you know, where she's like trying to turn over, and it's sort of, you know, like a wave, and yeah, I mean, yeah. The other thing is the hot water bottles, trying to alleviate the back pain during the night as well.
It's really bad.
And just oddly and funny enough, I'm trying to recall where, you know, your back pain, it wasn't sort of constant. It happened and occurred at certain points in the day and night. And yeah, I mean, the best bet and the only thing you can really do is the hot water bottle. And yeah, you have to just deal with it because of the weight. So yeah, that's some of the things that she was going through, and I could only just do as much as I can, read up, do my research, get anything that I could to help her and be there for her. Tried my best, babe.
Yeah, he did, and it was such a big help. And you know, we didn't have to stress so much then as well because COVID restrictions eased. So up until that point, we were really worried about him being allowed in the delivery room with me. That was my biggest concern. Like, I didn't even care if he was allowed in the gynae visits. Obviously, it would have been better with him there. But the delivery was my biggest concern because, and I kept saying it to him and to our families, I wouldn't have given birth without him there.
Yeah, because I am the strength in this family. Anyways, yeah. So in reaching 30 weeks, and we were still sort of on the fence about, you know, as much as the COVID restrictions were eased, the doc sort of reassured us that yes, I will be in the delivery room, but we just were just uncertain and paranoid about it because it wasn't formal, because we just took it for granted that things are easing out. And yeah, 30 weeks, we sort of just did what we could in preparation. We packed the bags, we had everything ready.
Yeah, it was a major milestone for us because with all the research we were doing, we read up that a lot of twin pregnancies, like mothers went into preterm labor at 30 weeks. It was very common, and we just knew we needed to be prepared for that.
And on that, I think also the reasons, you know, as to why some women would go into preterm labor is because, and you'd see it as you're monitoring the weight, you know, coming from knowing nothing about, you know, babies and stuff, especially in a twin pregnancy, you come to find out that as you're reaching those stages and those last stages, you're monitoring the weight closely because that sort of it signifies and identifies how your baby is doing and whether your baby is sort of ready, you know, to come. And when they're monitoring the weight and the woman, her womb can only accommodate, or it's meant to accommodate for one baby. and the weight of one baby. So as you're monitoring the weight, you see both the babies pick up weight to sort of form that full weight of one baby, and that's when a womb would say, I've had enough, and the babies need to come out because the weight is I've accommodated as much as I could. So it was interesting just to know that, and that's something obviously for a twin or more pregnancy. It's how the woman's body would work. It makes sense. So yeah, that's where we were, and then I think at 32 weeks.
Yeah, just before we get to 32 weeks, at 30 weeks was my baby shower, and just important to note that we had it at the right time, because at 32 weeks I developed a rash, and it's called Puff's rash, and basically destroyed my life. I'm not even exaggerating.
Even I was traumatized.
Guys, it's like the worst thing to ever happen. You basically break out like in hives, and from your neck down to like your ankles, you are just covered in this rash that's like elevated off your skin and burns and itches like no other feeling in this world. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. And it's so rare, and it can only occur, I think, in women that are carrying boys, women that are carrying multiples, Caucasian women,
First-time pregnancies.
First-time pregnancies, and also it can be like, if it's in the family. And out of all those boxes, I ticked like most of them. I just wasn't carrying a boy. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, so when I looked it up and I was trying to figure the shit out because she was losing her mind, and she couldn't do anything because it was like the way it seemed and the way it looked, it like made her lose her mind. That's how it was, and it was scary. It was like I needed to sort of help, but when I researched it and looked it up, I mean, what it actually is that when your babies grow and your basically your skin stretches, your skin gets so thin that the how can I say it, the things that surround the baby sort of get absorbed into the mother's skin, and you get an allergic reaction, and from the allergic reaction you sort of break out, and yeah, that's what it led to.
So basically I was allergic to my babies.
Yeah, it's crazy just how that works, but essentially that's what it is. You're allergic to your baby, and then also just in seeing that, it sort of gave me another view on women and what they go through. I mean, I even went out to forums and stuff, and I was like, you guys are amazing, because I can see my wife going through this, and it's just, I feel so helpless, but I'm obviously looking here for things that can help. And from what we've read up, there's like a million things people said, and some things it's obviously we couldn't try because it's from other countries and stuff, but from what we did try. And one of the things she read up was what's it?
Epsom salt baths. But before we discovered that, my gynae suggested keeping cool, and that didn't work out for me at all. And my sister-in-law suggested keeping hot, and that helped like a bit. I would sit with the hair dryer and like just blow my body for like 5 minutes, like burn it. It used to be like so close to my skin, just to burn and numb me.
As much as we don't know, what's advisable and what's not, especially specifically to each woman and how their body is and their skin sensitivity and all of that. But from what we know and what we've read and seen and what she's experienced, you sort of want to do anything that you possibly can to sort of help, because she couldn't sleep, she couldn't do anything. She used to cry, just sit there and cry. That's the only thing she could do. And I obviously bought as much as I could, calamine lotion, aloe vera stuff, freaking
allergics,
everything. And and it's basically when a skin gets sort of inflamed, and that's where it starts going crazy because it gets red, hot, aggravated, and all of that. So it's the ultimate goal is just to alleviate that inflammation. And then I'm talking like a doctor, but anyway.
Yeah, you're making me like think about it and get like goosebumps.
Yeah, like I don't know, it's weird, but essentially that's what it is, and just to get it settled down. And fortunately, that salt part helped, and
but we only discovered it like 2 weeks later. So I read someone say try it, and I did, and I took it for like 3 days in a row before my gynae was.
But also to note, just on the onset of it, just the panic and trying to do something about it. We got like calamine lotion and stuff, which we tried, and at that initial stages, before it fully spread and it was fully like elevated and stuff, we tried the little things and it was like helping here and there slightly, including this one. It's a lotion where it includes oats. So that was sort of, I used to rub it on her all the time, and I think after days, each day it progressed and it sort of built up all over her body and everything, and then it was like hardcore, and that's when she tried the salts. So that was PUPS, and yeah, I mean, if you guys are going through it, please share in the comments as well. It's always interesting to see how everyone dealt with it and stuff. There's literally like forums and support groups for that shit because, well, from what I read,
because you need it. It breaks you just emotionally, mentally. It does, and you need to stay strong and fight through. I know. I even told him like our gynae wanted to deliver the twins at almost 37 weeks. And I was like, you know what? Our specialist said they'll be safe at 36 weeks. So you need to tell this gynae that he needs to take them out at 36 weeks because I can't go on like this. And then I would take a step back and be like, I'm being so selfish because these babies need to stay in for as long as they can. And but that's what it does to you. You need a way out. And like from what we read, they said that it will go away after you give birth.
Yeah, so they say that it's sort of, once the baby's out, then that allergic reaction doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, that was sort of PUPS, and it was crazy. It was a crazy ride. But I think just the one positive thing that I want to share as well in the third trimester was that's when it was funny because being so big and stretched out, and the babies are sort of taking up full space. When they kick and stuff, you can literally see those waves on your belly, and it was, well, I didn't see it first, but then that's when she told me, and she was like, look here. She used to take videos and stuff, and it was so interesting to see. And obviously, I felt that the babies kicked before that, but seeing them, move, and when we used to lay in bed and stuff, and I used to like just get kicked.
They used to react to him, guys.
Yeah.
They were crazy.
So yeah, I mean, naturally, you do the things in every pregnancy where you talk to your baby, so they warm up to you and your voice, they're used to it, and stuff like that. So yeah, and just, I don't know why I'm thinking about it now, but if you guys, or if the woman out there, when the baby's kicking and you want to show someone, and then you maybe pick up your top just to show your belly and stuff. Babies, they're sensitive because they can actually, the light goes through your skin, so then they stop kicking. So that was just something that I remembered. But yeah, it was fun, and we didn't know. Okay, well, we did know which baby was kicking because they were so big that they stayed on where they were, So we knew, and it was so odd. And also another thing to note at that point. The stretch marks and stuff.
That's a sensitive topic.
but just to go over it briefly.
Yeah, that was my biggest concern. So because I wasn't picking up weight, I didn't suffer so bad with stretch marks. And then like in my second trimester, I saw one and I was like, oh my God, can you see this one stretch mark?
Like, look at this thing here.
And he was like, I don't want to say anything, but I see them, but it's so small, don't worry. And then like a week later there were like 3, and I was like, oh my god, I'm being taken over. And then obviously I was using like bio oil and all of these things, and it was helping. It kept me like my skin like smooth and everything. And then when this pups rash hit, my skin was so sensitive and so burnt out and itchy that I couldn't apply anything on it besides that oat lotion and calamine lotion, yeah. And in those 2 weeks, so from 32 weeks to 34 weeks, I just had a whole bunch of stretch marks, and it's like, I don't know now, like I'm crying over the pups, I'm crying over the stretch marks, and like I was just, pregnancy is hard, guys.
So yeah, I mean, she dealt with a lot. Every woman probably goes through a lot. For the guys, just something else I remember now is that when you're going to, trying to get as much as you can to help them and stuff, just take those precautions on what you're getting and stuff, because you can only get stuff that's safe for pregnancy, and it's easy for anyone in the pharmacies and stuff to make those mistakes, because you never know. So always just Google it, make sure. We used to look at our medications and stuff, and I used to look at that long instruction thing, and I used to be like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. And they say haven't tested in pregnancy, blah blah, not safe. So yeah, because when you reach those points where you're trying to do as much as you can for the things that she's going through, and she's like in a state where she just wants to do anything and put anything, you sort of just have to also bear that in mind, because things kind of get absorbed in the skin and into the babies and stuff like that. So yeah, that was that.
And that's why I couldn't take anything. So I just kind of have to accept that it is what it is. And even the pups rash, I was worried that, was gonna scar me forever. But now looking back, and I think even towards like the end days of my pregnancy, I was like, it's such a big deal to give birth, like to even be pregnant firstly, but to carry twins so far like was an achievement, and that was bigger than anything else, no matter what happened.
That's what I used to tell you, and I used to tell her that when she used to go through those things and cry and stuff, I used to say, just remember what you're doing it for. There's 2 babies in you, and you're sort of doing it for them. You have to go through these things for them, but easier said than done. But it's just to sort of maintain that positivity and keep going and just trying to make it through the next day. And then we reached our next gynae visit.
This was at 34 weeks and 3 days.
So we were there. I was there. I was there. Because I was allowed. He did the scan and stuff, checked everything is good. Just the fact that Liana, baby B, she didn't pick up weight from the last visit, which was a week ago, because at those last stages we were doing weekly visits. And she didn't pick up weight, and it was a concern, and it was a concern of his as well. So he said, he can see that the weight her weight hasn't been picked up. And also the water as well, he was concerned about at that stage as well. So then we went to his office after the scan, and we were busy chatting, and he was like, okay, he wrote down the weights. He does that all the time, wrote down stuff. And he was like, okay, so I'm not going to be around on Monday or Tuesday. So we were like, oh, okay, thinking now, if we need anything, we can't contact him because he's going to be out. Then he was like, yeah, so we can deliver the babies today.
We were like, I literally was like, what? When?
Yeah, it was like sort of just like the first visit when he said there's another one there. Because that's how we felt. And at that point too, we didn't talk to each other. We were like, what do we say? And then I was like, hold on, and then he explained a bit more, and he was like, look, he wants to sort of deliver them now, and we can wait another week just to see if Liana picks up weight, but he advises that we get them out so that they can see to them outside of the womb, because if she stays in and if she still doesn't pick up weight, and other complications can happen. So he just was wary of that, and he didn't want that to happen, so he knew that it'd be more safer if they came. So we were like, okay, that makes sense, cool.
As much as our bags were packed and the nursery was ready and we were like, oh, we got this at 30 weeks. Yeah, at 34 weeks, we were like, no, we're not ready. We're not giving birth today.
So yeah, then he was like, okay, tomorrow. That didn't really, it wasn't like better. I don't know. But
also it would have been the same day, but because of COVID, we had to go for COVID testing.
Yeah.
And we would have only got results the next day.
So that's what he said. He said, okay, I can't be today, and this and that. So we said, okay, cool. And then he said we're gonna have to go for tests after the visit. We'll have to go do the test, and he also said that we'll have to buy these steroids because it sort of
helps the babies like pick up like weight in there.
And also it helps them when they out the womb, in terms of their lungs, because their lungs are sensitive, and that was the sort of the last formation for them to form their lungs properly. So the steroid helps them when they come out. So
we came out from the gynae and we were like, okay, cool, we'll see you tomorrow. He was like, be there at 6 o'clock sharp. Don't be later than that. So we left the gynae's office and we had to go to the hospital to get the steroid shot, and Mr. wasn't allowed in there. But for anyone that knows me knows I'm terrified of injections, and even when I go to my GP, I don't take them. And this one was on the butt, and it was long and it was painful. Like, even after I took it, I had to like walk back out, and this nurse was like, it will subside in an hour. And I was like, okay. And right after that, we had to go and do our COVID testing. And he even like flinched when they did it. I was in so much of pain still from the steroid shot that the COVID test was nothing for me.
Yeah, so with the COVID test, I think they do it a bit differently now. It's just in the front or at the tip of your nose. But that was when the initial ones they like wedged it right up there, and that burning feeling stayed for the days. Anyway, we're not talking about COVID testing, yeah. So yeah, we did the tests, and then we sort of tried to prepare within that time, because remember now it's like we only have a few hours left in the day, and we had to tell our parents, make sure everything's fine, just mentally prepare for the next day. And then it was like almost like 8 o'clock or late in the evening where we had to do the other steroid injection, and that one we went to the hospital and they administered it there. But and then she took that one, and then we came home, and it was like, I think we only slept at like what
I think
so. Like midnight. We slept like midnight, and then we had to be there the next day at around 6. And that was
the pregnancy.
So that was our pregnancy journey, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I do apologize if we missed anything. Be sure to add your comments and questions if you want to know any more detail on anything. We couldn't get enough detail in there. We want to keep it short,
but also just share our story, like that was our main thing. We didn't get a chance to, especially with COVID. None of our friends have seen our babies. We don't allow visitors at the moment, but that's us, guys.
Apologies, we were tired, but we did our best to sort of give you guys an insight of the first stages, and I can't wait for the next videos to come where we show you guys the hacks and things that we experienced and things we're experiencing now. I can't wait to reach to this point because there's a lot to cover and it's interesting, fun, and so thanks for watching, and we'll obviously add our Instagram link below so you guys can check our Instagram page out, and
and our next video, we're really looking forward to it because it will cover the birth of our babies.
oh yes, the drum roll, because that's the day where they came, and that's something that you guys really need to hear because it was like all over the place, but it's fun, and I can't wait to share that with you. It's really something. But
our Instagram page will have a lot more details. We actually share a lot more things there than here, so do follow us there, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. He rolls his eyes, but he wants you to as well.
I want you to, but like the tagline is so cliche, and it's like, anyway, so enjoy, guys. Thank you for watching.